Global warming, also known as climate change, is the long-term increase in Earth's average surface temperature due to human activities such as burning fossil fuels, deforestation, and industrial processes. Here are some facts about global warming. The Earth's temperature has increased by about 1 degree Celsius, 1.8 degrees Fahrenheit, since the pre-industrial era. The 20 warmest years on record have occurred since 1981, with the hottest being 2016, followed by 2019 and 2020. Carbon dioxide, CO2, is the primary greenhouse gas responsible for global warming. The concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere has increased by about 45% since the Industrial Revolution. The Arctic sea ice is shrinking at a rate of about 12.8% per decade, and it is predicted that it could completely disappear in the summer months by 2040. Global warming is causing more frequent and severe weather events, such as heatwaves, droughts, floods, and hurricanes. Climate change is expected to displace millions of people due to rising sea levels and extreme weather events. The effects of global warming are not evenly distributed, with vulnerable communities, such as those living in low-lying coastal areas, being most affected. Addressing global warming requires a combination of mitigation measures, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and adaptation measures, preparing for and coping with the impacts of climate change. There is scientific consensus that global warming is real, and that human activities are the primary cause. The United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, UNFCCC, is the main international treaty addressing global warming, with the goal of keeping global temperature rise below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. The effects of global warming can also be seen in the natural world, with species habitats being altered, migration patterns being disrupted, and ecosystems being threatened. Rising temperatures are causing the permafrost in Arctic regions to thaw, releasing large amounts of methane, a potent greenhouse gas, into the atmosphere. Ocean temperatures are also rising, causing ocean acidification, which threatens marine life and disrupts ocean ecosystems. The burning of fossil fuels, such as coal, oil, and natural gas, is the main source of greenhouse gas emissions, accounting for approximately 75% of global emissions. The Paris Agreement, signed in 2015 by 196 countries, aims to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, and to pursue efforts to limit the temperature increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius. The effects of global warming can have significant economic impacts, such as reduced agricultural productivity, increased healthcare costs due to heat-related illnesses, and property damage due to extreme weather events. Renewable energy sources, such as solar, wind, and hydropower, are becoming increasingly cost-competitive with fossil fuels, and can play an important role in reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Small changes in individual behavior, such as reducing energy consumption, using public transportation, and eating a more plant-based diet, can also contribute to reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Climate change is a global issue that requires global cooperation and action to address. Although the effects of global warming are already being felt, it is still possible to mitigate the worst impacts by taking immediate and ambitious action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and adapt to the changing climate. Global warming can have indirect effects on human health, such as increasing the spread of vector-borne diseases like malaria and dengue fever, as well as air pollution-related respiratory diseases. The effects of global warming can also exacerbate existing social inequalities, with marginalized communities and low-income populations being disproportionately affected. The melting of polar ice caps due to global warming is causing sea levels to rise, which can lead to the loss of coastal habitats and the displacement of millions of people. Climate change is also affecting agriculture and food security, with changing weather patterns leading to crop failures and food shortages. In addition to reducing greenhouse gas emissions, adaptation measures to address the impacts of climate change may include building seawalls and other infrastructure to protect coastal areas, developing drought-resistant crops, and implementing heat wave response plans in urban areas. The effects of global warming are not limited to Earth, as rising temperatures and increased radiation can also affect space exploration and astronaut safety. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, is a scientific body established by the United Nations to provide regular assessments of the scientific basis of climate change, its impacts and future risks, and options for adaptation and mitigation. Global warming can lead to more frequent and intense natural disasters, such as wildfires, floods, and landslides, which can have devastating consequences for communities and ecosystems. The impacts of global warming are expected to continue for centuries, even if greenhouse gas emissions are significantly reduced, due to the long-lasting effects of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. The effects of global warming are not inevitable, and can be mitigated through collective action, innovative solutions, and international cooperation.